Okay, so a couple of other things I'm going to show you is so if you're looking at one point perspective, like if you were standing in front of this doorway right here, this little recessed doorway, and looking straight into it and about ready to go into your dark, creepy classroom, this is what it would look like. And this I saw a lot of kids have trouble with also. Um, so I'm just going to draw, let's say, a door. Okay, so the doors at River Ridge have a little window in them. So I'm just going to draw the little window first, and it's a long rectangle. So let's say here's the little window, and then the door is also a rectangle, but it's a bigger rectangle that the window sits in. So here's the exterior of the door. Kind of looks like a prison door, but not that I know what a prison door is, but just saying. So here's the door. So a little rectangle inside a bigger rectangle. That's all it is. If you start to think of it as a window and a door, then your brain's going to start running into some problems of trying to draw space when you're trying to draw the illusion of space. Let me explain. So, little rectangle inside of a big rectangle. And then the door or this rectangle is nested inside another rectangle. So this is the wall. So again, it's really hard for kids or young artists, new artists, to think of things as just shapes. If you think of things as just shapes, it's going to make your life as an artist a lot easier. So little rectangle inside a big rectangle inside of a big rectangle. Now we need to create the illusion that you're walking into this space, right? So here we go. It's going to be inside a bigger rectangle. You guessed it. It's like the inception door. So I'm going to draw a big, big, big rectangle around all of this. There we go. And I'm not going to finish the bottom, and I'll show you why in a minute. I'm going to connect this to this, and this to this, and this to this, and that to that. So now you can see that there's a walkway. Like this door isn't on the outside wall. This is on an inside wall. That's what you're looking at when you're walking into here. So we got to finish the outside. So here is the floor on the outside where the wall meets the floor. And then this part right here where the ceiling meets the wall. So again, like another rectangle. This is the inception rectangle to create depth, the illusion of depth. So little rectangle inside bigger rectangle, inside a bigger rectangle, inside a bigger rectangle, inside of bigger rectangle. And then like in the building, it would be an even bigger rectangle. So that's how you would draw the illusion of a recessed area. One other thing that really gave kids trouble is the tiles on the ceiling and the floors. They often did this, where they would draw the floors like this. And this perception or this perspective is a bird's eye view looking straight down at tiles. Of course, let me show you. So they would just draw it like this, like just a grid, and just slap it onto the floor and draw a grid and just slap it onto the ceiling because they knew all the tiles are the same size and the same shape. So that's what they drew. But the tiles are only the same size and the same shape if you are looking directly down at them. But we're drawing these in perspective. So how do you draw tiles in perspective? That's freaking tricky. You always got to keep in mind that the things that are closer to you get bigger and the things that are further from you get smaller. So, given that information, this is the next step that kids took was they would draw the rectangles like this and then draw a little rectangle and a littler rectangle and a littler rectangle like that. But yet they were still rectangles with 90-degree angles. So tiles, even though you know in your head tiles are square, when you look at tiles in perspective, they're a trapezoid. So this is what I mean. This is a square, 90-degree angles. A trapezoid is shaped like this, where it's smaller on one side. Trapezoid. So let's take a look. If I drew lines coming straight out of this vanishing point, they get closer together when they get closer to the vanishing point and further apart when they get further from the vanishing point. So now we have the tile width getting bigger as it comes towards you and getting smaller as it goes back into the background. I'm going to erase this. And then you don't really see all the details in the far background. So I tell my students, don't try and draw the details that you don't see. Remember, draw what you see, not what you know. So basically what I do is I just kind of shade this in a little bit. And then as I get closer to the foreground, that's when I start making my lines a little bit more clear. And the closer I get to the foreground, the distance between this line and that line increases to stick to my rule about things that are closer to me get bigger. So the distance between this line and that line gets bigger as it gets closer to me. And the distance between each line gets bigger as it gets closer to me. So these are my trapezoids that create the illusion of the tiles getting smaller and receding into space and make them look like they belong there instead of like a grid on the ceiling or tiny little random squares that get smaller as you go into the background. Unrealistic, realistic. Drawing what you know, drawing what you see. Okay, so one more time, we're going to do this right here. So here's my tiles. Let's find the vanishing point. So this line right there. I am a tall person. So these are different right here. Anyway, so let's say this is my vanishing point right here. Again, I'm just going to draw the lines out from there to make my tiles. And maybe this one doesn't. There we go. So I'm going to erase this a little bit. Then erase these lines. And then, let's see. We'll go right here, right there, right there, right there. So it starts to fan out this way. Because if you did this, it should just be like a starburst. Okay, so from here, drawing that tile and then getting more distance between them as I come out this way. More distance, more distance, more distance. So those are my tiles on the floor. These tiles on a 2-point perspective would go to this vanishing point, and then there would be a vanishing point over here that these would crisscross. Let's see, let's do this, and then that, And then these would crisscross with whatever vanishing point was out that way, and then get smaller and smaller, like that. Oh, let's finish these. Like that. Okay, so you got tiles, you got recessed doorways, you got recessed 2-point perspective doorways, you got unrealistic tiles, drawing what you know, drawing what you see, you got furniture. As far as I can tell, you're ready to start drawing architecture. All right, looking forward to seeing your work. See you in class.